Good evening, Melrosians the world over. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Sam Hammer.
And I'm Tom Shampoo.
And this is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose. And we are deep into the new year. This is our second show of the new year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah.
Season 6, episode 195. We are getting closer to the big milestone, episode 200. Something special is in store. But it's so secret, we don't even know what it is.
I was going to say, is there? Something's in store? I wasn't consulted about anything.
Yeah. Well, we know something good will happen.
Something will happen.
Yes, I do. I count on you all brainstorming next week.
Yeah,
sure.
At the conclave, yeah.
After 195 shows, we know something will happen. Who knows what? Something will happen.
That's right. I'll tell you, something happened the other day, a little bit of fluffy stuff.
That picture.
You don't like my artistic angle?
I like his picture. It's very nice. I'm with you on that, Tom.
Yeah, it shows the depth of the snow as well as the field. You know what, Sam? In fairness, you probably like this one better. Look at this guy.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one.
Look at this guy working out there, making sure the streets are safe. People can come and go about their business.
Wow, look at that sidewalk work you did. That was pretty good.
Kidding. Yeah.
I actually snowblowed down the hill. I stopped at your yard. I said, he can do the rest.
Yeah.
He's young and able.
He's able-bodied. Actually, I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be careful, though, you guys, because you are right next to our ward city councilor.
Oh, I did her sidewalk.
Oh, you did?
What
a suck-up.
Oh, yeah. I should have done her whole driveway. So I should have done.
You don't want her going around handing out citations.
Right, exactly.
But here's the thing, Tom. You did the sidewalk. I sent her a photo of me with a shovel in the cleared sidewalk after you left.
Hey, you're welcome. No problem.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
She's so lucky to have. Yeah, she's so lucky to be on the street.
That's right.
She's lucky to have two Toms on either side of her. That's what.
That's right. She's in the middle of a Tom sandwich.
We can probably stop there. Yeah. Hey, so here's what's interesting. We had about 4 inches here in Melrose, I think. Right?
We had more than 4. I had more than 4 inches.
I love the giggle. That's fantastic. It's so on brand for you, Sam. So anyway, so I went to the woods, which are a mile from here, the fells with my dog, and it's like 6 or 7 inches. It was more snow, really? Literally a mile or maybe 2 miles away from here. Very strange.
We only got 4 inches. I don't think so.
I think it's about 4. I don't think it was a full 5. So I don't know.
Oh my God! I told somebody it was like.
No, I have to check 10. The timestamp on this, but
anyway, so that's all. Just sharing my observation about the snow.
It's funny. I had people, you're on Zoom calls or whatever. People are dialing in from all around the country. They're like, "Hey, how was the storm?" I was like, kind of a non-event, honestly, but we were on the national news.
Yes, here was non-event, but North Reading, which is less than 15 miles away, had 16 inches or something.
Did they really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Haverhill had 18 plus, Lowell had 18 inches. So, 25 miles or 20 miles away, it was a big difference.
Once they stopped talking about Melrose, I zone out. So I wasn't paying attention to
it's like Charlie Brown's teacher, right?
Right. All right, so we did okay in the storm. We're deep into the new year. Oh my goodness! Tonight. Right. Julie Nolan is on the show.
I'm just so excited. I love when Julie's on because she carries us home. She
carries us home.
Carries us everywhere. It's like wherever we go, she's going to take over and make sure it's.
She carries us home. She knows what's going on, and she's making things happen all over the city. And we're going to hear some news about all that.
That's a trifecta, Tom. You're right about that. Yes. That is a trifecta.
Yes, but
and for Jen LeClaire in sports ball, they call that a hat trick. But anyway,
So I was just looking like it's going to be time to get to the news soon. I don't know why like half the items are crossed out.
Oh, because they were from last week.
Oh, okay.
We can repeat the news, but who's going to care about that?
Is this what they call a living document?
Yep. We have we have a few topics we're going to go really deep on.
We're going to go deep.
All right. Okay. Well, good.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I think liquor should come up first, don't you think?
Yes, sure.
What should come up first?
Liquor.
Oh, really? Before the other news?
It's up to you. Will you decide?
Oh, I think the inauguration is the lead story.
I think inauguration is the lead story too. I don't mind either way.
There was quite a bit of pomp and circumstance. I dialed in to our ever reliable MMTV, who had awesome coverage, and you could see just so many elements, just from that vantage point, so many elements of the town coming together. Sam will give us a better rundown than I can do, and she was there live in the room, but it was
in person,
great that MMTV has the live coverage, and you just dial it up on YouTube if you wanted to, and tune right in. So it was awesome. Oh. But Sam, you were in the room.
I was. How many camera angles did you have? Just
one sort of side stage angle that could see the crowd and all of that, and I think occasionally they would pan to the other one because I could see another guy. Actually, I don't know. The live stream might have been all from that one camera, but they had another camera up in the back.
Okay, to go head on.
It. Might be filming it for the MMTV website. I'm not entirely sure, but
okay, yeah. I should have kept my program, but it was a full program for the evening. So you definitely were committed and came to watch an entire evening, to be a part of the entire evening. So I think we were at Memorial Hall, and it was pretty full. The band came out first. Marching band came out and played some songs and got the crowd all, as you said, pumped and circumstanced. And then I won't go through the whole rundown, but Cleo Mook, Alistair Mook, and Jane Roper's daughter sang the national anthem, which was gorgeous and beautiful.
Wow.
Melrose United said the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
It was a full ensemble of Melrose's finest, really.
Great.
Of some of our best things. But so in attendance were, obviously, it was the inauguration of our 3 school committee members who were elected. So half the school committee plus minus 1, our whole city council that was elected, and our mayor-elect, our new mayor. And one thing that was really cool was I didn't expect Congresswoman Catherine Clark to be in attendance as well. Who
now?
Yeah,
I had seen that. I got a special invite email as a commissioner.
Oh,
and they had the rundown of the night, so it did say
standing.
Oh yeah. I didn't go because we had a meeting last night.
Right, that's the best. You had the ultimate. Right, you're on the insiders list, and then you snub them. That's
and just don't go. Right, I can't. I'm sorry. I have too many things going on. No, I wish I was there. I'm sorry for.
You were at a commission meeting, I thought.
I was at a commission. Yeah.
So here's the stage with Catherine Clark speaking.
Nice.
To the group. Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. And it was great. Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll was there. Our state auditor was there. Our district attorney was there. The chair of the Women's Commission, Karen Grant Blackburn, was the MC. It was pretty cool to see all of it come together.
So I'm watching on TV, and look at that, cool.
Yeah,
nice, good crowd.
So I'm watching on MMTV, and I see Catherine Clark come. So it's great, she's here, and she's started her political career on the school committee at Melrose, which she actually quipped at one point is still the hardest job in politics. But she's fairly prominent figure now down in Washington, D.C., and there's all kinds of angst at the national level on all kinds of fronts. So it was interesting to see her there. And then I noticed, I go, oh, well, there's a rather fit-looking gentleman escorting her, slightly behind. And she goes, oh, so like, okay, that makes sense that she would have some kind of security detail.
Yeah, sure.
He's actually been the victim of like doxing attacks and like she's, you know, some serious stuff back in the day and ongoing. So it makes sense. So it was interesting. It was great to see her there. Then I was like, I wonder how that works. And you, of course, saw the security detail. And then when she started speaking, I was texting Sam because I was like, wait a minute, what's the ruckus? She stopped and you could hear some yelling in the background. So Sam, maybe you can give us just a little bit. It's like worthy of news. It's not like a news, just sort of a curiosity, but it was just interesting, like the profile she has, and it drew a little bit of attention.
Yeah. So suddenly, while she was speaking, 3 folks from the floor in the crowd stood up. One had a flag from Palestine, and they were protesting the war that's happening in Gaza. And they were persistent, polite, but persistent. And she handled it very, very smoothly. You know, she said this. She stopped. She waited to see how this is going to get handled. She said, you know, we're trying to have a peaceful ceremony, a celebration here tonight. She said, I'll wait. And her, one of her, the service detail, and then I noticed Chief Fallier come over, and a few other police, and they were they handled it all really well. They told the folks that they left peacefully. Still chanting on the way out, and then they left. And she said, "We're going to start over," and then also said, "This is the beauty of this country: is that we have our First Amendment rights are strong and intact, and this is what it's all about. But let's start over now."
Wow!
I thought they all handled it really well.
I maybe even including the protesters. So I mean, you know, what they're weighing in on is a real thing, and people feel passionately about this, and it actually sort of harkened back to the old days, you know, when there was this level of, you know, passionate protest or conversation, but it didn't devolve into, you know, some of the counterproductive or mean things that can happen these days. You know, there's all kinds of things happening out there. So in a way, it was kind of, you know, kind of nice to be reminded that you could sort of maybe be politely disruptive if that's a thing. And, you know, also just kind of like let the night carry on. Also.
And all, you know, at times, to your point, things can devolve. I think even the crowd that was there was also respective of the seriousness of the what they were protesting, and so people just waited. They sat quietly. There was no screaming or yelling or even conversation back and forth. People got up, and you know, it was jarring, but also handled extremely well. So,
no, it's good to hear. Glad to hear that. Yeah.
Well, it was good because I had somebody on the inside because I had to text Sam like, what's going on down there?
Oh, I should have lied. I should have said something else.
So now we enter a new era, the first elected female mayor of Melrose, and we'll see what the year ahead holds for us.
Yep.
Liquor. Should we move on to the liquor?
Yeah, the rest was kind of circumstance swearing in speeches, so it was all great. But I think what Sam talked about in the beginning was kind of the most compelling. That so many different groups represented from the city, so it's a nice sort of event for that. Right. And everybody's sworn in, and now, yes, we can transition to the Liquor Commission because we thought we were done with this, but wait, there's more. So on one of Mayor Broder's last days in office, he sent a 28-page memo to the Liquor Commission because
I didn't hear this 28-page. This is true.
Yeah, if you go to, well, we'll post the link, and there's a PDF linked within that. So, you know, what he's talking about is, and the 28 pages is really just sort of like providing sample legislation for the commission. You know, because there's 3 volunteers in this commission board. They don't write legislation. And I think we've talked about for a while, the rules are antiquated and a little bit convoluted in a number of ways. And we've talked on this show over the years, you know, Melrose has made some progress in adopting and adapting those. And I think he's arguing rightfully, I just sent my letter of support in today, for a little bit more comprehensive updating. So the food requirements is one of them. There's like restrictions on entertainment, and you're supposed to get an entertainment license if you're going to have entertainment. And like, there's not even a way to get an entertainment license. Like, so it doesn't make sense in the context of things. There's rules about like, you can't have open windows. So this all goes back to the old days. And as much as I was just sort of like almost cherishing that a moment ago, it's time to move on this topic and modernize this. So it's really, the argument here is really, I think they approved the brewery like we talked about last week, but this is like, hey, let's just clean up all of this stuff. And I think it's, it's time for that. And it's a comprehensive, and I think he really wanted maybe to be included in his legacy, somebody who moved this forward in a meaningful way. And so I sent in my letter of support.
Nice.
I think this all makes good sense, just to clean it up and modernize it, and have it make a little bit more sense overall. So the brewery, sure, they should be able to do some things, but these food requirements and the weird stuff that like you can't even comply with, or there's no process in the city to get an entertainment license. Right. So and some of these things are the reality, right? So Rising Eagle has the windows open in the nice weather, and they have live music in there, and it's wonderful. And so like, let's just clean up the code.
Even the open windows is an issue, because Giacomo's has that as well. So there's some kind of a blue law, some kind of something on the books that talks about that as well, because now you're open to the public in a way that they think, they being the laws, were trying to prevent back in the day, whatever that was. But anyway, there's all kinds of ways to update and upgrade.
Back in the old days, that would attract the hooligans, Tom.
Right, exactly.
So if the hooligan heard music out your open window, they would get, hypnotized and drawn to your place, and then they would cause havoc all over the city. So,
or kids would trip inside the window and a beer would fall. They'd drink a beer. Like, there's all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, I do love that we will have an expert coming on shortly who could tell us exactly how she worked around or with the Melrose.
Absolutely true.
Dry town regulations. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. We should get to that, because this is an interesting conversation. Are we finished with the news segment?
Yes, we are. This is all threading together so beautifully. But
still pending. The brewery's on its way. The brewery's got the building inspection. The permit is in the window. They're building away.
There was construction going on when we were over there last Friday. There was pounding and hammering and
nice hammering
things going on. Yes.
Right, well, let's bring on our friend, who's always a great guest to have, Julie Nolan.
All right, we did it.
Here she is.
Hey, everybody.
Sorry, I just said Julie Nolan. I didn't mention the Megan Driscoll Nolan part.
Oh, that's
my bad.
That's ridiculous. That's such a long. I keep meaning to change that, and I just never do. And so, and I always complain about people that hyphenate and have like 82 names, and here I am with.
Well, Julie wait a minute. Where's the hyphen go here? Driscoll Nolan.
Well, Driscoll's my maiden name, so no, I'm not a hyphen. I guess I thought it was kind of like an AOL account, and Julie Nolan is such a popular name that I said, I better put everything in there so people can find me.
Wait a minute. What's your SAG card say? Like Michael J. Fox is Michael J. Fox because there was another Michael Fox in the industry. So you must have a SAG card. What's the name on that?
Do you know that I used to have a SAG card? How funny is that? Yeah.
You did.
In my early 20s, really, getting set up,
in the day,
future. Wow. Yeah.
Did you have a stage name, or what was the name on the card? Do you remember?
Catalini.
Well, that'll get you. That'll open some doors.
It was Cher. No, I'm kidding. It was just Julie Driscoll.
I tried Beyonce, but it was taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyonce too.
Now, listen, a couple of things. One is I just did the math, and your 200th episode falls on February 13th, which I think you should do some kind of Valentine's celebratory thing, maybe down at MMTV. Let's do something big. I don't know. I just thought I'd let you know.
I'm really glad to hear that you care about this more than we all do. So that's fantastic. Really appreciate it.
That means we have to have a show next week.
It's kind of a love affair of sorts, LTMM loves Melrose, Melrose loves LTMM.
well, this is it. This is it.
Reciprocal.
And we love MMTV, and we love that they're getting a brewery next door. That's a little scary. Oh, and by the way, yes, I was one of those hoodlums that would fall into the windows
and get a beer.
Somehow managed to get beer down my throat. It was just crazy.
Tell us more. What was it like pre-21, Julie? Like, what was it? What did you do? Not that
it sounds like it was 100 years ago. Tell us about the day, Mom.
I've never lived in a dry town, so what is
okay?
Like?
So everybody would congregate like at Bellevue Golf Course or the Woods and all that. And I had pretty strict parents, so this was some finagling on my part to get this done. So I told my parents that I was going to Polly Roach's house, which is on Porter Street. I grew up on West Wyoming Ave, so that's a bit of a hike. So I would walk myself up there, and my parents thought I was at Polly's the whole time. I was not. And what was really great was Polly had a later curfew. So we would get up to Bellevue, and she could stay like another hour or 2 hours. And I had to get back because my father was going to be picking me up. So I used to pull a Ferris Bueller, because her parents were so kind. They let me go through the back door and out the front. Like I'd been there.
You had co-conspirators, not just Polly, but her parents were all in on the.
I had a team.
Your dad.
I had a team of people, and I was really running that game really, really well this one summer. And then, I got lazy, or I lost track of time, or you get like all these parents are idiots. And I'm now realizing that I'm walking down Porter Street, and there's my father. He puts the brakes on. He rolls down the window. He goes, "Hey, Jewel, just a quick question. Do you want to get in the car now, or do you want me to meet you at Polly's?" Then I thought about it because I had a little beer, and so I was like, which is going to get me in less trouble? I don't know. And then he's like, "Get in the car."
So I have to back up. Because I love this idea that you asked someone's parents to help you drink beer and smuggle you back into the house. That's a gifted person. You are a very gifted person.
Well, thank you. And the funniest thing is, I saw Mr. and Mrs. Rocha at Turner's probably about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And Polly Roach's mother is her eyesight isn't great. So she really goes by the voices. So she knew who I was. And she grabs my hand. She goes, "You were such a lovely young lady." Really? Were you not aware of what was going down? I mean,
no, it's me, Julie.
Yeah. Oh, that Julie. Oh, never mind. But no, it was, it was one of these things where like it was a big trip to go to Cappy's in Malden with your parents, like your dad. I remember saying to my cousin, "I'm a terrible mother. I'm dragging my kids to Cappy's before I go home." And she's like, "Oh, don't say that. Those are one of my best memories with my father, going to Cappy's in Malden." But yeah, we had to, you had to. And then I'm just trying to think, the restaurants. Yeah, that I think Turner started the alcohol.
So restaurants back in the day didn't have alcohol either?
Right.
Not that I know.
Yeah,
they didn't really have good restaurants either.
Well, I was gonna say, what was your go-to restaurant as a family when you were growing up?
Well, we usually didn't, because there were 8 of us, and this is an example. We'd go to McDonald's, and my father figured out that the drinks are what makes it so expensive. Yeah. So we would go, and my mother would bring like high C or whatever in like a thermos.
Xyrex.
Yes, and we were dying. We were like, "Can we just have the McDonald's at home? Can we not sit at like the picnic table?"
Oh
So Julie, we later on, Stephanie and I married. We go visit my mom out in Central Mass where I grew up, and we can't get her to go out because it's just cheaper and easier to be at home. Just conditioned. Doesn't matter who's paying or whatever. It's just so conditioned at this point. We could get it or go out to coffee if it was a Tuesday and we went to McDonald's because there was a senior discount.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, that's what you want to do. That's what you're going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But no, it was silly because, yeah, we didn't really have any good restaurants. I remember when CVS came in and it was like, wow, we are on the map.
Right.
We now have a CVS pharmacy.
I think there's also something happen here where we get Julie, Shane Egan, maybe Scott McCauley. We get some OGs that can talk us through this rich history of the city and bring it to life. Julie right here is bringing it to life. Shane's got all the photos. McCauley's got the lowdown on
archive.
The archive. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Julie, tell us more about what's going on now. We love going back in time to revisit those days, but tell us more about what's happening now. There's stuff going on with you, right?
So, yeah, there's stuff going on. So tomorrow night, so David Galini and I are creative partners, as you guys know, and David came up with this idea of a podcast called Open Mic. And the whole idea is that nothing is off the table. There's no right or wrong. It's just how you feel and where the conversation goes, which I love. And so he's been talking about doing it with a live studio audience for a couple of reasons. One, in hopes to maybe get some more people to want to work with us, because we need more camera people, we need more editors. We're kind of stockpiling some projects that we would like to start rolling out, and we need help to do that. So we thought if we brought people in and they saw like how much fun we are, that maybe they would consider, kids or adults, doesn't matter. So tomorrow night we are discussing, and this is a gift that keeps on giving. I mean, this story just goes on and on, but this is the phenomenon of Taylor Swift. That's what tomorrow night's topic is. And I have two guests. I have Stephanie Nelson, who I picked because I love her, A, but B, she's younger than me and she has a daughter that's a Swiftie. So I really want to kind of get that angle. I have sons, they're older. I was out of college and working when Taylor Swift was born. So I'm a little bit distant, although I'm fascinated by it. Like, her whole story is fascinating. And then of course the romance with Travis Kelce is another whole situation, which is funny because, and I admit this sheepishly, but I watched Catching Kelce on the E! Channel in 2016 when it was kind of like a bachelor show, and he was trying to find the love of his life. Hysterical. 50 girls, one from each state in the United States.
What?
Yeah. That's 6 hours I'll never get.
They will put anything on TV.
You know what I'm saying?
So you would not call yourself a Swiftie, but you're Swift adjacent. Like,
Swift curious.
Yeah.
I'm Swift curious. I definitely admire her chutzpah. I mean, obviously she's doing something right when 300 colleges have a class that like does a deep dive into Taylor Swift's success. Wow. So they're using it as an English class for her songs. They're using it as a business class for her contracts. So all that, I mean, I think she has an excellent team. I don't think it's all her, but it's fueled by her, and I'm fascinated by that. And she's very honest. That she has a documentary called Miss Americana, and it's on Netflix. And she's really honest, because there have been many times before this, her huge jump to fame, that I didn't like her. I just thought she was kind of plasticky and calculating, and she does have that to her. But in the Americana documentary, she explains, like, she's not a confident person. Like, this, she didn't really feel like she fit in, but loved to write songs and it's taken her a while to enjoy that she's different. And
so that's okay. Interesting, because we have all the confidence and very little talent. So we're sort of like,
we're kind of the opposite,
right?
Kind of the opposite, yeah.
Well, it's like, I don't know if you guys watched the Golden Globes, but
no.
So what happened at the Globes was it wasn't a well-structured joke. Let me just start with that. So it was Joe Coy was the host, and he was asked like 10 days ago, so he didn't have a lot of prep time. So his joke was mainly saying that the difference between an NFL game and the Golden Globes is that the Globes don't have as many cameras, and we're not going to get as many shots of Taylor Swift. And he was nervous, so he didn't land it. And she gave him a look like she was going to kill him. And I think that's out of fear. I think I think she's very hard on herself and she's got a lot of fear. And I think that she needs to start realizing your person of the year, laugh it off. Yes, you're going to be on camera. You're going to always be on camera. That's it. That's your life. And that's okay. You know what I mean? But I just was like, oh, she doesn't do well with a surprise. She's not improv-y like, other people.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so my other guest is Kristen Nemeth, and she's great. She's a repeat guest of mine. We did a whole deep dive on Meghan and Harry. Back in the day, we did a 2-part, and boy, our predictions were pretty spot on. That was in 2021, and we were like, nobody's going to like them anymore. You have to work for respect. You don't just walk around and get awards.
I'll tell you, Julie. So I've been watching this. There's a show on Netflix called The Crown. And if that isn't like something to see. So I don't know, maybe I had fleeting sort of curiosity or admiration for, the monarchy, but it just not look good.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I was so enthralled with it that I wrote, it's still hanging there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I wrote a play entitled The Spoils. And the idea is that I make up the conversations that everybody's having sort of behind Meghan and Harry, like Camilla and Kate, go to lunch or they have a glass and they're like, what the, so it was fun to write because I just made up, what Charles would say to, what's the older William, in different scenarios. But I'm just kind of putting that on hold and seeing like what pans out and then if there's any interest. Because sometimes if you lead something to bake, then maybe in a couple of years it would be interesting. But right now it's like everybody's so overloaded. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, but I love this stuff. I mean, it's like, like I said, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Every morning I'm like, okay, what's happening now? I mean, it really does spotlight just how insecure and not solid our news is. Like, if you read the news, you'd be like, oh, they're engaged. Oh, he's in Las Vegas with her. And it's like, no.
Okay, wait a minute. This is not news. I'm like, what is this segue? Like, we're talking about Taylor Swift.
Oh, well, that's okay.
I mean, that is not news. This is categorically gossip and things that
it's what's going on, but it's not. I would agree.
Really what's going on, I would say.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but it just still fascinates me because it's like you don't have to be a genius to be like, well, he plays for the Chiefs, so they're playing today. So no, nobody's on a plane over anyway. It's just I don't know. You're right. I shouldn't be trusting it, and I'm not now because I'm figuring it out for myself.
So what happens with this podcast and the live studio audience? So we like MMTV, we used to do a thing out of there and we had the podcast table up front. Is that kind of still where it is? And what's the audience experience going to be like tomorrow?
So it's a great question. So we normally are in that front studio there. But because of the live studio audience, we're going down into Studio A. And we're having chairs in like a half moon, and then the cameras will be behind the people.
So there's cameras. So you're calling this a podcast, but it's video and audio? There she goes.
She'll be back.
Such a great question, too. And then,
so that's interesting. I want to find out. So if they're doing the video, maybe it's broadcast on MMTV. I wonder if it's live. Where do I subscribe to this podcast?
I don't know. Let's see if she gets back on board.
She'll get back on. I think she was breaking up a little bit while we were talking to her.
Maybe.
I struggle with getting into discussions or having an opinion on pop culture because I feel like I don't know enough about things. I'm like, tell me, like, what I don't pay attention closely enough to know like who said something really inappropriate or who's done something like.
Welcome back. That's the American way is to have an opinion without any facts. So
right?
Jump on board.
I don't know.
It's kind of like the weatherman.
I'd be really interested. Yeah, I'm with you, Sam. Like I was never qualified, and I'm just less qualified as each year goes on. But it is one of the last ways to stay in touch is through your kids. So my oldest daughter is a huge Swiftie, as they think they're called. She's got everything. Started getting stuff on vinyl. She asked for her birthday one of these things on CD, and I was like, you're 23 years old, 22 years old, whatever it was at that time. Like, why do you want a CD? She's like, I want to listen to it in the car. And they do like having the artifacts, but increasingly out of touch, I think, with I was probably never really in touch with the pop culture, but yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, Sam.
Yeah, Julie, we were just saying, I was saying when you, I don't have an opinion. Like I have Swifties in the house, but I feel like I don't follow closely enough. So I'm hoping to learn, but I don't follow closely enough or know her history close enough to know, like, did she say something really stupid or do something really stupid once there? I can say, I don't know. I just, I don't know enough to know people's character.
Well, I'll tell you this, like one thing that I definitely want to point out is at the podcast is she comes from money, and that doesn't mean she isn't talented and didn't get, she works her tail off, but it doesn't hurt that your father makes $100 million and
what's the business he was in?
He was a stockbroker, and he owned a Christmas tree farm.
Oh, I know a nurseryman. Are they all multimillionaires?
Yeah. That was like the oil tycoons. It was like oil, steel, railroads, nurseries.
But that helps. Like when you look at somebody else like Jewel or Lizzo, these people slept in their cars and managed to get. And so it's just an observation. Again, it's just it helped. What I laugh about is, clearly she's from a small family because she went to her parents and said, "I want to move to Nashville because that's really where the country singers really. That's how you do it. You get right in there." And they did it. They moved. They sold the farm and moved. Now I'm the youngest of 6 children. If I said to my father, I'd like to go to wherever because I want to do whatever, my father would have said, okay, why don't you go to the attic and pretend that's Nashville? And that, you know what I mean? Like we wouldn't all uproot. Like that's another thing that is kind of fascinating is that they really believed in her at such a young age. I mean, I think she was
it's
11,
interesting, right? Because this is like a thing in history. So if you look at paintings from the 1800s, 1700s, whatever, like who's in a position to spend 2 months making an oil painting? It's usually somebody of privilege. So that's like not uncommon. And so it's interesting nowadays where you can have things emerge. I don't know Justin Bieber's background for sort of family history, but I know he was one of these artists, as I understand it, that sort of kind of emerged at the time YouTube was coming out and sort of got to fame that way. So it's interesting how things are different, but maybe that background is why she's got the business sense. I hear she is a serious business person, and that I didn't know there was a class. That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, 300 colleges are currently having her as the title of a class. In fact, Harvard is looking for Swifties to round out this professor. She feels like she doesn't know enough. And someone sent me the link. It says, go ahead. And I'm like, I'm not a college English teacher, but I maybe could tell her a few things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Send her an email.
Give me the link. I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
So we're going to be in the studio A. We're going to do Q&A. So when you walk in, if you have a question, you can put it down, or even while you're listening, if you have questions, we'll do that. It's probably going to break into 2 podcasts because we just really want to let the conversation just flow and not really worry about time like sometimes you do. Like you probably are worried about time. I don't even know what time it is.
Oh, yeah, we're 10 minutes.
Yeah, we do have to wrap. So we do have to wrap, but you have the cameras and all that. So maybe it's going live on MMTV and then people sign up for the podcast someplace else.
It's going to get YouTubed. So I'll probably send that link out on my Facebook, and So will my guests. And so we're excited about it. And one other thing, and I know I got to close, and we can talk more about this, but I am doing a comedy show at a horse farm in Ipswich.
Wow.
And it's going to be like this wintry night, like with like music and comedy, and it's going to be gorgeous. I'm just trying to figure out all the details, but that's going to be February 24th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
So, yeah, I'm trying to see if I can talk some company into maybe doing a shuttle bus from Melrose to Ipswich and back, just like all shove in there and go and have a nice winter night. It's gorgeous. It's called Cedar Woods Farm. And it's my son Danny's dentist. And she just said, "Do you still do comedy?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "You want to do one at my farm?" And I said, "Yes."
Oh my gosh.
So thank you for having me on again. I've had a wonderful time.
Thank you.
And maybe I'll see you tomorrow night. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so. It's on my agenda.
Yeah.
This farm looks beautiful.
Yep. Gorge.
I'll share the link.
So I'm going to try to have her. I'm thinking about her having her do like tours or something, and then we'll all gather or something. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go, per usual.
Nurseries, horse farms. I think there's a theme here.
For sure. Well, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Year
Great
to
to see
you.
you. Thank you for coming. Wait, don't go yet. Don't go yet.
Are we ready?
We got to dance it out. Yeah, we got to dance it out.
We do. Are we good to go? We'll see you and everyone else around town.
Excellent.